And I've seen it happen with all my friends. I've seen it happen with all the guys I worked with. In fact, in all my years in corporate sales, I'm the only guy I know who has his own business. And every single one of those guys could own their own business because they can all sell. Okay, that's the distinguishing skill between someone who can't own a business and someone who can, is being able to sell. If you can sell, you can own a business. Period. Okay. If you're planning on starting a business straight out of school, okay, maybe you're a young guy and you're just coming right out of school and you're starting a business, more power to you. That's the move. I mean, I think that's incredible, and go for it. However, I know that many of you guys might not be ready for business ownership yet, either financially or emotionally. And I know that many of you will have to make that deal with the devil, just like I did, and work a corporate job. I just want to make sure that it's a temporary situation and not a permanent one, because the only person you should be working for permanently is yourself. And it's very, very, very important to be firm in this belief, because everyone around you, your friends, your family, your coworkers, your teachers will be trying to undermine this idea of self-ownership, of individualism. They're going to tell you to get that safe corporate job, and you've been trained for it since birth. Okay, the truth is you've been trained to take orders since birth, from your parents, from your teachers, from your government. This is the system that you're built in. Okay, and make no mistake, it is a system. We live under a control grid. And there's a reason why you're in school for 20 years. It's to keep you in a perpetual state of childhood where you're perpetually taking orders and not learning to become self-sufficient. That is the design of the education system. Okay? Taking orders from a boss is just a natural progression of your programming. I've seen it happen to too many guys that told me they'd never spend their lives in an office, guys who told me they'd just be there for a few years, guys who told me they were going to start their own business. Okay, they didn't make it out. They became another statistic, just another guy sitting in traffic thinking about what could have been, thinking about, living on a beach somewhere or in some tropical country. And that's what happens to most of these guys. Okay, so to avoid becoming another statistic, you need to understand what a corporation really is. And I'll tell you this, a corporation is a psychic prison. Okay? A psychic prison. I'm not exaggerating. That's what it is. They tell you what to think, where to piss, where to sit, and when you get to go home. When you work for someone, you have to call another man your boss, and all your resources depend on what he chooses to give you. I know this sounds negative and nasty and maybe over the top, but it's not until you recognize that employment is wage slavery that you can start to see clearly. Okay? Wage slavery. You're working for Exxon. Exxon has a GDP larger than 50 countries in the world, right? You are a slave to this massive corporation, an actual slave. I'm not exaggerating, okay? When you have to ask someone to take vacation time and to take an hour away from the office, and this is not freedom, guys, okay? Don't kid yourself. This is not freedom, not even close. You are a slave to that paycheck. That is what it is. The contract might as well be written in blood. I know you might not want to hear that, but it's important to understand. And this is something that our ancestors understood. When you look at the American Pilgrims and the founders of America and America for the first 150 years, they were violently opposed to working for someone else. Everyone earn their living as an independent entity, as a farmer or as a blacksmith or as a small grocery store owner or any number of things that weren't working for a Walmart as a greeter making less than minimum wage. Okay, they did not accept working for someone else on anything more than a temporary basis. Everyone was instilled with the idea of self-ownership, self-employment, and it's no coincidence that within that 150-year period, America became the most successful country, most prosperous country in the history of our planet. But the world we live in today is very different. You've been born into a world where your natural ability to hunt your own food and tend to your own land is no longer an option. A criminal monopoly called government tells you what to do, what to think, and takes half your income in taxes. Okay? Sounds over the top again, but look at it with clear eyes. This is what happens. Okay? The government is nothing more than a monopoly of force. They're the one who get to hold all the guns. They don't want you holding guns. Okay, they're the ones who get to commit crimes. They get to commit robbery in the form of taxation. They get to commit murder in the form of war, or murdering you if you choose to not accept their rules. They get to commit white slavery when they put you into jail. This is not an exaggeration. This is what the system is, okay? Now, I'm not telling you to go out and start a revolution, because this has always been what the system is. You look back, this is not a new thing. This is how the world is, okay? The buildings aren't yours. Your house and car are mortgaged to the bank, and you have to slave away 50 hours a week to get by. You are a completely expendable, easily replaced cog in the corporate machine. And in reality, your position has not changed from the 1500s, where you were a feudal serf tilling the soil for your lord and king. Okay, now don't get me wrong. We live way, way, way better, 1,000 times better than our ancestors ever dreamed. But the game is still the same. It's still the classes versus the masses. It's still the elite versus everyone else. That's the game.